So my best performing post on LinkedIn in the last year was one about 12 logical fallacies. As you can see, it had over 400,000 impressions and it got me well over 1,000 followers. The thing is, I mostly use ChatGPT and Midjourney to create it. So I just wanted to create a nice video walking through the process I used to do that. So quickly to show you the post, it's about 12 logical fallacies, how to think and debate clearly, 12 ways. So I contextualized the importance of doing this and learning this to get them more interested in reading. And then I basically went through and outlined 12 different logical fallacies, gave a definition of them, contextualized its importance, had some sort of related image, had an example of somebody making that mistake. I can show you this post in Figma, which is the tool I use for all my carousels. Essentially, I made the title slide and the template, and then I just copied it for 12 different ones. As you can see, false analogy, false cause, loaded question. And then I have a recap, takeaways, and that. So the way that I used AI for this is that, I didn't necessarily know off the top of my head all these different logical fallacies. It was actually something I wanted to just learn myself too. So I popped into ChatGPT and I gave it this prompt. So, hey there, I'm writing a post to share on LinkedIn in a carousel format. I run two companies. One teaches founders and marketers how to grow startups. The other is a marketing agency specializing in strategy for funded startups. So I wanted it to know the exact audience that I was writing for so it could tune the examples and everything for things that my audience would care about. So my audience is primarily founders and marketers of startups. I want to write a detailed post about logical fallacy. So just, again, giving it as much context, I'm going to break it down into 2 slides per fallacy with a maximum of about 50 words per slide. So I asked for it 5 up front, knowing that I wanted to do 12. I just wanted to see whether the output was useful. It seemed reasonably useful, so then I asked for many more, 10 more, 5 more. Because ultimately, if I'm doing 12, I don't want it to just generate 12. I want it to generate a lot more than that, and then I choose the ones that are most relevant for my audience. And then from there, I asked it, okay, can you give me an example of each of them? So it gave me examples. And then often I didn't like the example that it gave me. I didn't think it was usable. So I then went through and I asked it for more examples of each one. So I chose all the ones that I liked best. And then I put it into Figma. I'd tweak the text to make it punchier, readable, kind of remove the GPT-ness from it. And that it did most of the research in kind of like first draft for me, and then I edit it from there. And for the images, I decided to use Midjourney because I didn't want to design them myself, and I didn't want to go to some sort of library of illustrations. So I wanted things that were more custom. So Midjourney kind of generates things somewhat randomly based on the prompt that you give it. It's kind of like a dice roll. So I could ask it to do these different concepts and it might do it in completely different art styles and everything each time. So to combat that, I gave each of them the same sort of tweaks. So I gave it highly detailed, cinematic black background. And then the only thing that would change was the kind of initial word, the initial seed sort of thing. So for ad hominem, I didn't really like what it came. So what is the concept behind ad hominem is attacking the person, not the idea. And I ultimately chose this one just because it was eye-catching. For bandwagon effect, I just asked for a bandwagon and I got it to generate several. And I ultimately used this one because I thought it was funny. Not that one. I used this one because I thought it was funny that the horse was sitting in the cart. Because it was almost like even the horse is jumping on this bandwagon. And then, so for some of them, I could just use the name directly, like slippery slope. I just typed in slippery slope and I saw this icy thing and decided to use it. Sometimes for a loaded question, it's kind of hard to do an image, detailed cinematic image about a loaded question. So I asked for a loaded revolver. So I kept just generating different versions, took the ones I liked, upscaled them. If it had some sort of background, I would remove it. So for example, for the slippery slope one, I got it to remove this background and I used Canva or another tool called remove.bg. Again, uses AI to remove the background for me. So yeah, and then I just took all of this information, I plugged it into Figma, I cleaned it all up, I chose examples that I thought were more relevant. Often I rewrote the description or the context setting text myself, but ChatGPT really helped with the research and kind of the first draft, and Midjourney did all of the images for me. So what could have taken me a day or two to make, I did ultimately in about 2 hours. So I think this strategy is really good if you have things like lists of things. So I did one about copywriting frameworks. I could have researched and looked up every single copywriting framework. Instead, I asked it to generate 20 of them, give me definitions of them, give me examples of each, and then it's on me to go through, choose the ones that I think are best, tweak them, write better examples, remove some of the GPT-ness from it, and make it great. So hopefully that helps you create great content a lot faster. It surprised me that it did so well when I did it.